Welcome back to another episode of Publicized Theory Podcast, the podcast where I talk about self mastery, self development, and concepts that'll help all of us become the best version of ourselves. We are back with another episode, an episode that is one that I believe we all can relate to, like most of the other episodes, but this one definitely we can relate to because a lot of the times we are all in the flow and in the motion of doing the things that we do, that it just becomes repetitive and habitual. And for the most part, we tend to operate on autopilot most of the times. Similar to the actions that we take on a day to day basis, our mind and our mental operates in the same way. There's no difference. If anything, it's what controls everything that we do day in and day out. Now, a lot of the topics and concepts and things that I talk about on the podcast, one comes from experience, me growing, me evolving, me becoming a better man, a better person in general. And two, from the things that I read and I learn. I seek out information that I want to know more about. I seek out things that I believe will make me better. The book that inspired this episode that I read sometime ago, I can't remember exactly when I read it, probably was last year, but a book that I believe everyone should read, a book that will truly, and I don't use this word very lightly or often, but transform the way you think and the way you perceive present moment each and every day, and how you look at how powerful your mind is. It's a crazy book. It's just a mind-blowing book, a transformative book, and a book that I highly recommend everyone purchase, whether it's digitally or physical copy. It's one that you need to have on your bookshelf or just in your house. That book is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. That book, like I said, will blow you away because he talks about the mind, and he talks about how we perceive the present moment, and he talks about how we in many ways are living in this autopilot phase because our mind is in control of everything that we do, that we feel, that we think. It's strong and powerful enough to make us believe that we are in control when in actuality we are not. It sounds crazy because what I basically just said was there are two separate entities that are operating day in and day out. There's the mind and then there's you. So that means I struggle to find words because it's very hard to break it down in a way that doesn't come off crazy. But your mind is very powerful. Your mind can make you think, feel, believe, act in all different types of ways, positive or negative. Most of the time, a lot of the times, our mind is in control and is operating in an autopilot state of mind. Whether that's reacting to things in the same way that you usually do, whether it's negative or positive, whether it's creating emotions for different things that happen in your life, whether it's negative or positive. A lot of these things in your life is controlled by the mind. How you feel, how you react, what you think, your thoughts, all of that is your mind. Now, when I say, are you operating mentally on autopilot? What I mean is, are you really in control? Are you in control of your thoughts? Are you in control of your action? Are you in control of the emotions that you feel? Are you in control of the outlook on life that you have? And if you find yourself saying no to any of those questions, ask yourself, why do you not feel in control? Granted, there are a whole host of reasons why we may not be in the position that we want to be in, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have control. We have control in mostly every element of our lives. We have control over what we do, we have control over what we think, we have control over how we react towards situations, towards people. We have control. And if you believe that you don't, then that in and of itself is another question. But what Eckhart Tolle talks about in The Power of Now is very enlightening because we, in many ways, get caught up on things that do not exist. When you think about having anxiety, it's usually about things that were in the past or that are potentially in the future. Now, I haven't met a psychic yet, so no one should be worried or concerned about the future. And the past has already happened. And yes, you can learn from it, but in many ways, there's nothing you can do about it to change it. But what we all can focus on is the present moment, the right now, because that is all that we have. But the mind is so powerful that it'll have you thinking that the real problem is the past, the real stress is in the future, there's nothing you can do, but that's a lie. And when we talk about having a winning attitude, like in the last episode, and breaking down your beliefs and breaking down understanding opportunity and all of the topics that I've discussed in all previous episodes, for the most part, I believe outside of the money management episode, really attacks your mindset. It really speaks to your mentality. It really speaks to how you mentally operate day in and day out. This episode is no different. We have to understand that our mind will take us places and cause us to do things that is not beneficial for us in the long run. Stressing about the future, stressing about the past, intrusive thoughts, creating anxiety, so many different elements that can derail us and can cause us to have a negative flow in the life that we live. Whether it's feeling away, and I spoke about this the last episode when I gave the analogy about someone cursing you out in English and you feeling away, and someone cursing you out in another language, a language that you do not speak, that you're not able to understand, and you don't feel away. Right? You not feeling away is you not creating a pain body, a negatively charged reaction to something that someone said. You, in that moment, were able to react in the manner in which you wanted to react. It's the same approach when it comes to controlling your mind and the thoughts that you may or may not have that are negative. The pain bodies that you create, the emotionally negatively charged emotions that cause you to feel a variety of different emotions: sad, depressed, angry, bitter, jealous, envious, and all of the other emotions that we can think about that are negatively charged. But when there's yin, there's yang. You can always look at things in a more positively charged way as well. And you can rewire your brain to think and to flow in that positively charged environment. You can rewire your brain, and it sounds weird saying rewire, but that's in many ways what you're doing when you are trying to debunk the mindset that you have that you feel has not taken you to the places that you want to go, that has not made you feel happy, that has not made you feel excited, that has not made you feel like there is so much good to look forward to, that you just wake up every day excited to get closer to what it is you're trying to accomplish. It's tiring, I will not lie, because it just takes so much consistency. It takes so much mental power. It takes so much just time, which everything takes time, but the energy component into trying to debunk and trying to understand why you think the way you do, what can you do to eliminate the negative influences that you have that cause you to think the way you do, and take those daily steps in becoming a better version of yourself. It's tiring, but at the same time, in my opinion, it's well worth it. Are there things in your life right now that cause you to feel emotions that are negative that you believe you don't need to feel negative emotions towards? And if so, ask yourself why. Why do you feel that way in this situation when you don't have? Why do you feel sad, or what is causing your depression or anxiety? And if it's something that doesn't exist, albeit the past or the future, then tell yourself there's nothing to worry about in this current moment. And remind yourself that you have the opportunity right now to take stock of everything that you have going on and everything that you need to do. And you have this opportunity right now to make a plan, to make a promise, to make a commitment to yourself that from this day forward and every other now moment that may come, you're going to do, and you're going to put your best foot forward to make that happen. And you have to really believe in that. You have to really acknowledge that. And you have to really understand that that is all you can control. You can't control what someone does. You can't control what someone says. You can't control whether you stay at your job or not. Obviously, you need to perform at your job, but whether you get laid off, you can't control that. Whether you're running late for work because of traffic or a train delay, whatever the case may be, those things are out of your control. A lot of things in our lives are out of our control. All that we have to do on a day in and day out basis is control the things that we can directly control and be accepting of that fact. A lot of the things that Eckhart Tolle talks about in The Power of Now is acceptance. He talks about how we all are in a constant state of resistance. We're resisting the now. We're resisting the present moment. We're resisting the acceptance of things that have happened to us. Because of that resistance, we can't move on. We can't fully adopt and embrace the present moment that we have because we live day in and day out in a resistant state of mind. And until we accept the present moment, until we accept that we have the power to be in control and that we can only control what we can directly control, then we will never be able to really embrace and enjoy the now and feel gratitude and feel grateful and feel happy and feel like there's nothing in the world that, we can't do, but while I'm here and in this very present moment, I'm going to enjoy it and embrace it. Yes, I may not be where I want to be. Yes, I may have a shitload of work to do. And yes, situations may be dire or whatever the case may be. But in this very moment, I'm accepting of all of that. I understand what needs to be done in order for it to change. I'm committed to making the progress by my actions, and I will allow the results to speak for themselves. However, if you're not accepting of that, if you're in a constant state of resistance, you're going to be in a negative loop day in and day out with no progress, with the same results, the same emotions, the same situations, and you will feel like year after year after year, you've made no progress. We all have to take accountability and acceptance for everything. Let go of the things that are causing the resistance in your life. Forgive the people that you need to forgive. Accept the actions that were caused by other people that made you feel a way, that may have made a negative impact in your life. Accept it. Forgive them if you need to, but move on. But do not allow that resistance to hinder you moving forward. I feel like this book in itself needs one episode. We'll never do a book of this caliber justice. And I don't even think I will do that book the proper justice that it deserves. So I'm going to leave it at that for right now. But I highly recommend each and every one of you who listens to purchase The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Read it. See what it can do for your mind and the way you view life. And I promise you, you would not regret purchasing that book. Thanks for tapping in with me to another episode of Publicized Theory. This episode will need a part 2. No question about it. There's so many things that I don't believe 10 to 15 minutes can do justice. So be on the lookout for a part 2. The next episode, if it doesn't air this upcoming Friday, it will definitely air the next Friday. I am juggling a busy schedule at the moment, so I apologize in advance if an episode does not come out next week. And if it doesn't, it'll definitely be the following week. But again, thank you for tapping in with me to another episode of Publicized Theory. Continue to stay safe, stay blessed, and have an amazing weekend.